Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another deck profile on the channel. Today I have Tenpai. I placed first place at my locals this past Friday with Tenpai. So this is a little bit of goo. This is actually a budget build of Tenpai, which is kind of cool. I mean, this deck, Trident Dragon's like 80 to 120, but this deck's only about $65 if you exclude that, so it is really a budget deck. So let's go ahead and get straight on into it. So we have our 3 copies of Tenpai Dragon Pydra. Really solid card. Obviously, you guys know what these cards do, but if you don't, add the spell trap on summon, and then quick effect, sink in the battle phase, and then you take no damage. We pair that up with our triple Tenpai Dragon Chandra. This card is a free special summon. As long as you control a fire dragon, it has the quick effect to synchro, just like all the others. And then once per turn, if a monster battles at the start of the damage step, special summon a level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from your deck. There's not a ton of great targets for that, but we do have one very good one in Tenpai Dragon Fadra. 2 copies of that, pretty standard ratio. On normal special or at the start of the damage step, reborn a level 4 or lower fire dragon from your grave, and then quick effect to synchro, and then your monsters aren't destroyed, your fire dragons aren't destroyed by battle. So that is the monsters for the Tenpai part of this deck. To round out the spells, we've got 3 Sangan Summoning. Protects your fire monsters, your fire dragons during the main phase, and then also add a card, add a Tenpai Dragon monster, and then pitch a card. Honestly, pretty good. Also doubles the battle damage. Pretty crazy. And we got Sangan Summoning. Kaiman, I should say, not summoning, that's this card. Sangan Kaiman, this is quick effect. You can either add a level 4 lower fire dragon, special one from your hand, or if you're in the battle phase, you can do both. In fact, this is a quick play, is really good. And then the last card that is kind of engine for this deck is the one of Terraforming. Yeah, not much to say about that. So then on to the other engines. So we are playing a second engine in this deck, and I just kind of wanted to test around with it. I don't really know if it's good. I don't really know if you should play it, but we are on a bit of a rocket engine here. So we've got 1 Tracer, 1 Recharger, 1 Absurator, 1 Boot, and 1 Dragon Ravine. I saw this on an OCG site. I thought the engine was actually, made a lot of sense. Either if you're forced to go first, or if you get debarriered out of synchros, this gives you something to do other than just Seal's Pass. And I can show you guys those combos in a separate video, or if you're interested. But then we're just on to non-engine. So we've got triple Nibiru, triple Ash Blossom, triple Dimension Shifter. That's some good hand traps. Basically, just really powerful hand traps. I'm not sure if I like Shifter or Nib in this format. If you're going up against Tenpai, Nib is dead. Shifter's only kind of okay against that matchup. Against other matchups, it's great. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. We've on triple Fenrir. I really like this card. You might play some other Cashier cards to play alongside it, but just getting an extra body and having more disruption if you're forced to go first is really nice. So that's our triple Fenrir. Then we were on triple Imper, not Ash Blossom, triple Prod of Prosperity, and then the last 2 cards are just 1 Mag and 1 Called By. Mag is here mostly because if you have to do a Seal's Pass line and you need to summon a card, Mag is one of your better cards to summon. It's not the one you're going to summon very often, but if you're kind of like forced into it, like let's say you're in a grind game, even though you hopefully shouldn't be in a grind game in this deck, the 1 Mag does come up to get you just extra cards. On to the extra decks. So we've got our double Bident Dragon and our 1 Transcendent Dragon. These are both pretty good. Bident on summon reborns a level 5 or just a fire dragon, just any. I didn't even know that. Reborns any fire dragon. Can't special summon for the rest of the turn except dragons. And then 3 or more attacks have been declared to turn. You can special summon this card from the graveyard and pop a spell trap. Transcendent, all monsters your opponent controls must attack Fable. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects at the during the battle phase. I did have a game come up against Branded where I used this card during the main phase where they couldn't interact with it, and then I went into battle phase where they also couldn't interact with my cards, and it was pretty strong. You can change all monsters, or when this card is synchro summoned, you can change all monsters into attack position. They must attack if able, like I said in the first part, and then if 3 or more attacks have been declared, you can special summon this back, destroy 1 card on the field. Pretty solid card. yeah, honestly, pretty powerful synchro monsters. Some other synchro monsters we've got one Black Rose, one Ruddy Rose, and one Cyber's Quantum. This is kind of like the expensive card in the extra deck. It kind of sort of replaces Trident, but it really doesn't. There were many lines, especially when I had to Prosperity into an established board, that I did very much miss Trident Dragon. But Ruddy Rose itself is also pretty strong. You can summon this, and then you can banish the whole graveyard. So even if you don't kill them against like graveyard focus decks, they can be in a pretty rough spot. Then on to our links. So in combination with the Rocket package, we've got one Striker, one Pisty, one Romulus, Seals, Triple Burst, and then finally Borland. So what the point of the Rocket engine is supposed to do is give you a line if you are debarriered, and just a way to play going first if you're forced to go first turn 1. You can end on Borland, and if you assume it's Tenpai, they do have a little bit of trouble clearing this. And it just gives you something better to do than just Seals Pass. It does take up quite a bit of space in the extra deck, as you can see. We do still have 3 cards that are 3 essentially flex cards, so you could have more synchros, but they're just more links. So there's your kind of like Dragon Link package. So we've got, as our flex spots, the one SP, and it's such a good card. Hita was really bad. I'd never played it. There was a lot of times I think I would have played Meteor Burst Dragon instead, so if you can get your hands on that, I'd say you play that over the Hita. But this is also the first card you would cut if you wanted to play the Trident Dragon. But you could also cut the Cyber's Quantum and play the Meteor Burst over this as well. And the final card was just a Scareclaw Tryhard. I thought this, if you're in the first game blind and you're forced to go first, you have to assume your opponent is playing Tenpai, and if you get to the Pydra and the Chandra, you can make Tryhard. Tryhard flips everything to defense. It's unaffected by their defense position effects, so most Tenpai cards don't have a way to out this. And even if they're going for like a Link play, like we are, or like a Link OTK with Promethean Princess and Raging Phoenix, then you can just fall back on your hand traps, because it's like you can't interact with the dragons through hand traps, but you can interact with the dragon or the links through your hand traps, and this is just a passive effect like Baguska, and I believe Kaiman just locks you into, it protects you from activate effects. Yep, unaffected by your opponent's activate effects. So this still flips them all to defense and still makes it so it's unaffected by their effects. So if they go something like Bring Back the Bite, or the Transcendent effect to destroy the Tryhard, won't work because it's already in defense. So that was the kind of theory behind the Link plays. I did actually make the Trident, or not the Trident, the Tryhard against a Raid Raptor deck, just to kind of like buy me a turn, and it mattered, but it also mattered because I was backed up by hand trap, so kind of iffy. So in the side deck, we've got Triple Droll and Lockbird. I just kind of wanted to play it. I also wanted to play Triple Shared Ride and Triple Mistaken Arrest. I figured any time in games 2 and 3 where you're forced to go first, you don't want to have things like Shifter or Droll in your hand, especially if you want to do like Link plays first and have follow-up for next turn. So I figured like Shared Ride and Mistaken Arrest were a little bit better than things like Nibiru and Shifter. We're on extra copies of Imperm and Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. We're on Moonlit Chill because this works under Shifter, so if we're going into a matchup that does hard lose to Shifter, we can play this and it doesn't lose to, or we can activate this under Shifter. You can't activate Veiler under Shifter. And finally, the last 2 cards were Ghost Ogre, again, just for the Tenpai matchup. This card's insane. If you just Ogre the first summon or the first quick effect to synchro, they have to synchro with that card. So if they haven't used a Kaiman, or if they have used a Kaiman already, and you Ghost Ogre the first quick sync in the battle phase of the Tenpai Dragons, it does pretty much shut down their turn. So that is the deck. If you guys are interested in any combos, let me know, and I will be happy to show you. But I think this deck is really interesting, especially as a budget deck. There was a lot of times where I interacted with my opponent, and I really didn't feel like the deck was just like one-sided OTK. This doesn't feel like Ren Maju. There is a lot of like little back and forth. There's an important things to know, and it is a very interruptible deck. I think the reason the deck has been doing so well so far is because people haven't been taking it seriously, but I think that's the danger of it, is if you don't take it seriously, you can just lose to it. So that is it from me. If you guys want to see the combos, like I said, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to make a combo video showing off some stuff you can do with the rockets. But yeah, let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!